Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, the latest Gunners Town podcast. This is our usual Wednesday stroke Thursday stroke whenever there's been a game, because they seem to be coming thick and fast. We normally tend to do some form of a podcast midweek. It's me, Chris Howard, aka Suburban Gooner, and my teammates for this evening, as I warn you now, I'm going in two-footed on VAR at some stage this evening, is Charlie. It's AFC Charlie, isn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, it is indeed.
It's the one. And we've got the ever illustrious and fantabulous Gav, aka She-War. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Are you guys ready for this?
Let's go.
Let's get going.
Let's get going. Starting the 30-minute timer for today's 30-minute podcast. And we'll start with Wolves, actually. Let's do this chronologically. Let's have just a minute or 2 minutes from each of you on your thoughts on the game in terms of the positives that you took from it, some of the selection decisions, and what you think that means in terms of momentum and us building momentum, bearing in mind we then went into the Leicester game, which we can then do a natural segue, I guess. So, Charlie, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I think Arteta must have seen our podcast last week, to be fair, because what I said last week regarding the team to start with Wolves, he actually went with virtually bang on, really. I wanted Kolasinac to stay in that three, which he did, and I thought he'd done a good job. And I do think that David Luiz in the three is a completely different player. And once again, he's shown that. I thought he had a gigantic performance on Saturday. Because they was lumping balls in the box, Wolves, and we were dealing with it. I was really, really, really pleased that Lacazette came off the bench and got a goal. Glad that happened. I mean, obviously, and I just thought the team was just superb from front to back. Martinez once again really assured, and yeah, we went up there with a game plan and we executed it perfectly. I think we played them on a counter a bit. We had that spell towards the end of the second half. We had a couple of chances and Ketty hit the post or Patricia save. I don't know what one it was, sort of, but it was
both.
Yeah, and we got the goal. Saka, great finish. And with the week he's had, what a fantastic week. I mean, great to see him score. But no, it was a really, really good performance, and I think you could just tell from the vibe on Twitter. Obviously, it's different now because you're not going in the pub after the game and stuff, talking to people. But the vibe on Twitter, everyone was really, really happy, and I think most Arsenal fans see that result coming in a way because we had been getting better and better weekly as the games were going on. But everyone else, the press, any other players, just writ us off straight away. And I like it when it's like that. When our back's against the wall a bit, I thought we come out. I thought it was an excellent performance. And it was a really good 2-0 win for the Arsenal, which I was really happy with.
Yeah, it's good. So, Gav, did you write us off?
No,
we both predicted, didn't we, Gav?
Yeah, I think you went 2-1 and I went 3-1.
Yeah.
So we was both well. I got the right margin. You got the right amount of goals.
Exactly.
So we'll both take a bit of credit for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're watching this, we'll pick the team again for the North London Derby in a minute as well.
Yeah, no, we'll do that. But no, the thing that I actually enjoyed about it was Arteta substitutions. And when Kieran Tierney, who put in a tremendous shift yet again as he has been, and when he brought on Maitland-Niles just to start bullying them, I thought he was brilliant. And the minute he come on, because that I've forgotten the fella's name. The plays Traore for Wolves. He's been absolutely running teams ragged in the last 15, 20 minutes.
He's a mountain.
Arteta knew that. Brought on Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles gave him a dig, gave a few others a dig, and it was all over from that. It was the minute Maitland-Niles come on, I thought that was it. It was all over for me. So I was happy with the team's performance, and I was very happy with Arteta's in-game management and substitutions as well. So I think he matured and he learned a lot about that game as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I like is gritty Arsenal. I want to see more gritty Arsenal, please. I want to see an Arsenal team that goes away from home and is disciplined and has a structure to it and says, okay, we know where we're good, we know where we're less good. We've taken a look at you as an opponent, and we're going to play to our strengths. But actually, what we're going to do is we're going to negate yours as well. And we all thought that we were going to get that under Emery, but what it turned out is we ended up with a manager who was just overly negative. Whereas you can't really describe Arteta as negative. Like, we've had less shots but we've been conceding less shots. But it doesn't feel like we're as overly negative. It feels like he's got a plan, he's got a structure. And I think there's been questions around some of the substitutions, but like you said, Gav, I thought some of the substitutions, some of the decisions that he made were the right ones. And we've got to bear in mind, I don't know about you guys, but it feels to me like we seem to have played more games than everyone. I mean, every team we were coming up against, it's like they've had a week off. So that had happened with Southampton, where they'd had a week off. And in this game, Wolves, they'd had a week off. And yet we still managed to go up there and we still managed to get the 2-0. I was really pleased with that. I think we should have a word about, I'll go back to you, Charlie, on this one. Let's have a word about Ceballos and then maybe about the new boy, Cedric Suarez, as well. Talk to me about your thoughts around them in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the start of lockdown, we see a lot of reports about maybe Ceballos was going to go back to Real Madrid and so on. And I think as much as he's done all right before that, I don't think you'd have seen many people moan if he did go back. Think, all right, no, he's done all right, but let's really invest in the midfield, get someone else in. I think since the lockdown, he's been absolutely superb. I know we'll touch Leicester in a minute, but he's just his energy, the work rate, and he's the only player in our team really in that midfield who's got a little bit of creative genius. He can do something, put the ball through, make something happen. He always wants to go forward with the ball as well, which is key. So I'm delighted with his form at the minute. I think if we can get him again on loan for another season, that suits all parties. Him because he wants to play in the Euros, he's going to play for us. Real Madrid because they can then just get another year. They're probably going to win the league. They don't really need to improve their team that much, and he ain't going to start there. And Arsenal because we've got another player that probably now is just coming to fruition now. He's had his settling in period, and now he's looking the real deal again. And on Suarez, as I said last week to Gav, I said there's no way Arsenal are not giving him this contract if they've not got him in eye to be the first choice right back. And once again, on Saturday, he was superb. Really good. Up and down, making hard time, getting the ball forward, getting decent crosses in, which Bellerin probably a little bit sort of struggling with lately. But credit where credit's due. When he did make the sub and Bellerin come, I thought Bellerin done really well on Saturday as well. I've been quite critical of him lately, but I thought when he came off the bench on Saturday, he played really well. There was a couple of 50-50 challenges we had to make, and he'd done it. Yeah. And I thought fair play. Do you know what I mean? So, but same again. I think Cedric's going to be our long-term right back. And when we signed him, when we've done the radio shows, Chris, so long ago, I was really happy with him. He's a good player. He's won things internationally level. And so I'm really happy with his start.
Yeah, I mean, Gav, Ceballos and Suarez for you. So, how far away do you think Suarez could potentially be from just ousting Bellerin? And the reason I say that is because I actually think that game against Leicester, which we'll come on to in just a second, Bellerin was much improved.
He was.
And he was much improved in the previous game that he'd started before that. I think that was that. Who did we play just before that? Southampton, yeah. He's been much not Southampton, but he's been much improved in a couple of his games, Bellerin. And I think that competition is potentially going to be beneficial for him. But Gav, just a few words on Cedric Suarez and Ceballos before we start talking Leicester, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slightly different to Charlie. I've got a bit more faith in Bellerin. He had a very, very serious injury. He had a little bit of a knock. And then it all closed down as he was coming back. I think he's had a little bit more rest. I think the couple of challenges that he got in over the last couple of games will do him the world of good because he knows his body can actually handle putting in one of them tackles. Because that's the big. I think that's the sort of a big sort of mental block that hopefully he's got out of the way from that. With the games that we're playing at the moment till the end of the season, and indeed next year, we are going to be playing every 3 or 4 days. So the fact that we've got 2 of them are competing, I'm not necessarily thinking that one's first choice and one's second choice. I think they're both going to get plenty of game time. And especially with now, I believe it's been confirmed that there's 5 subs for next season as well. Yeah. So you've got to think that one's playing, one's on the bench, and they're going to do 60-30 dovetails.
That's been confirmed for next year.
I think it has. I think I read it had the other day. With regards to Ceballos, I mean, he's just been different class recently. I think it's more due to the fact that he knows what he's got to do and he's playing with the same person all the time. I'm a firm believer of partnerships all over the pitch. You have centre-back partnerships, and then you have what would have been the left centre-back having a partnership with the left-back, and the left-back having a partnership with the left-winger. The fact that we've got some form of centre midfield partnership going on is going to do them both a favour, because they're both going to get more used to knowing. They're going to know who's supposed to be on what position on the pitch. But the more it's practiced in actual game time, the better the both of them are going to improve. And the fact that what has been good over the last couple of weeks is we haven't been talking about mistakes by Xhaka or Mustafi. And you can tell when they've had a good game because no one's talking about them afterwards.
Yeah. No, absolutely spot on. And for me, I think that has been a big part as to why we have started to see such an uptick in form, is because these stupid mistakes, the idiotic mistakes, have started to be ironed out. Not completely, but slightly, somewhat. I think the discussion around the fullbacks and what you mentioned, Gav, and actually, obviously, both of you guys have touched on, I think this is an interesting one for me, because I think that Arteta is going to go similar to Pep in his reliance in his fullbacks, wingbacks. And so much like, I hate to mention that horrible lot from down the Seven Sisters Road, but much like Pochettino had a reliance on making sure that he rotated his fullbacks a lot because the energy that they consume. Maybe this is the reason. This is what we're going to see, particularly with the 5 subs. Maybe we're going to see more, left right back play 60, 70 minutes, and then the other one comes in to keep up the intensity. Don't know, but I think it'll be fascinating. And with Ceballos, it's almost to me as if he's finally found that forward pass. And instead of him finding those forward passes which are just being cut out, he's getting through. And if you think, let's move on to the Leicester game, and we'll start off with the first half, which was a really good first half. It was Ceballos that's put that ball in between the defenders for Saka to get onto, to put the ball across to Aubameyang to put us up. And that pass, I don't think that was working for Ceballos at the start. Well, not the start of the season because he played Burnley and he played very well, but certainly in that midpoint when he wasn't injured, that wasn't quite coming off from him. But it seems like the weight of pass is working as well. But Gav, I'm going to start with you. Leicester, talk to me about first half, how you thought we played. And we're going to have a whole couple of minutes on VAR because I'm literally loosening myself up. I'm going to start stretching now.
Yeah, no, I mean, go on, do a few lunges. Do a few lunges.
Yeah, go on. Go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I thought we started off well. We started off bright. We started off quick. We was taking it to them. Kasper Schmeichel, I thought, had a brilliant game. I think he certainly saved them in the first half. We had a couple of chances which perhaps we could have done better. Lacazette could have done better with that header that come in. It's one of them games that we really needed the second goal. If we'd got the second, we might have got the third, the fourth. We might have even got the fifth because we was kind of dominant, I thought, throughout it. As a game, obviously the turning point, get ready, was when the referee got overturned by VAR and then walked over to the side of the pitch to view the monitor, which I believe is only the second time that's happened in the Premiership all season.
Both to us.
The other time was when another player of us got sent off. And yeah, that was a turning point. You're down to 10 men. With the amount of subs that you've got going on at the moment as well, it's so easy to completely change the formation of your side. That's the thing. I mean, you're down at 10 men. The other team, there's 10, 15 minutes left. They could bring on 3 or 4 subs. Do you know what I mean? That the whole differential in the playing of games with 5 subs is going to change, and you're going to see some right weird ones at the if this carries on for next season as well. But yeah, ultimately, I don't understand it. I thought it was a definite yellow and it was a soft red for me. But if the ref's called a yellow, then it's a yellow, and that's my opinion of it. I think the problem, VAR was brought in to iron out mistakes by officials and to make it more of an even playing field. And as we know from what happened the other night, VAR is not actually fulfilling the ideal of what it's supposed to be. It's not giving a level playing field. It's not ironing out the referee's mistakes. It's not stopping inconsistency. But yeah. Go on. You absolutely. Go.
Shall I go? Are you going to let me go, Charlie?
I'm going to let me just before you go on.
You jump in for a sec.
Just regarding echoing what Gav said. First half, we played really, really well. We knew when we didn't go in 2-0 up at half time, you always had that risk, and then the red happened. I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here with VAR. When I first see it, I thought nothing of it, and I think the referee done it. But I'm going to be totally honest. When I see VAR slow it down like it did, which the referees at Stockley Park see, and then the referee did see it, for me that is a red card. Personally, I think it's hard to the fact. What I'm saying in football, with a normal challenge, watching it live, tackle like that, it's not a foul. But he's having a pop at VAR, but it's also when you slow things really down like that, they look 10 times worse. So when it is slowed down like that, it looks it looks like a red to me when it's slowed down like that. But it shouldn't be slowed like that. Football's football, right? But what I will have a go at VAR, their equalising goal, Vardy was offside from the first ball in. Not alone if Perez touched it or not. His shoulder is offside. He can score with his shoulder. That's offside. That hasn't been really mentioned. So I'm pissed off with VAR for the equaliser, but for the actual red card, if I'm totally honest with you, if it's getting slowed down the way it did, the more and more I looked at it, I thought that's a red card. The more I looked at it, I'm sitting here and I'm going, that's a red.
Yeah. I mean, so here's where I stand on it. Number one, I think if we go in the chronology of the match, if you are going to repeatedly look at the Nketiah situation, and I don't think there's a single person out there that said it was intentional. Okay, fine, it was intentional. Not. That doesn't mean it can't be dangerous. Yeah. Okay, I accept that. So Vardy, so Nketiah is dangerous because he's left his foot in. He's a split second out. You could call him unlucky. Fine. So what I want to know is, can you tell me, can anyone put up a good case, and I haven't seen anyone do this, as to why Jamie Vardy's kick, which has left holes in Mustafi's face, why that, people are even questioning if that's intentional. But even if you say, well, it's not intentional, he has endangered an opponent by his actions.
I agree.
He has physically endangered somebody. There was 2 looks at it from VAR, ignored. And this is why I'm fundamentally effing pissed off with VAR by this stage of the season, because we have seen this consistently. We have seen in games, so we're talking about in the same match, 2 instances treated totally different depending on the type of individual. I have seen Lacazette pick up a yellow card for the rotational fouling, absolutely fine. And then there was 2 or 3 times where Leicester players were doing it, absolutely nothing. Again, in the same match. We then get 24 hours later, James Tarkowski going in harder on Jared Bowen, and the referee has said a yellow card. Now tonight, as we are recording, we've just found out that Arsenal's appeal against Eddie Nketiah was rejected by the FA. I would love somebody to come out and explain why that gets rejected. And you're not going to take a second look at that Tarkowski Bowen situation and say this is worse than that situation. But it won't happen because there's no consistency, and this is what absolutely cheesing me off. It's not that I think that Arsenal, we're hard done by more than anyone else. Well, maybe we are. Gav, I'll let you jump in a second because you were talking to us about the Fair Play League or whatever it is. But this is happening every single week with multiple teams. We have a shocking refereeing system, quite frankly, where it's an old boys network. You've got the likes of Mike Dean sitting in Stockley Park. I don't want to see Mike Dean at Stockley Park. I don't want to see any of the referees that go out on the green turf on a Saturday and Sunday in Stockley Park. I want them to be completely independent from the referees old boys network. I'm utterly sick of it tonight. And Gav, I'm going to sit back and take some deep breaths because you can talk to me about this fair play stuff.
Yeah, no, I saw an image today, all the stats today. We're bottom of the Fair Play League. We're 20, right? We've got the most red cards and nearly the most yellow cards, right? Liverpool are top of the Fair Play League, right? Liverpool have committed more fouls than us. So it just doesn't make sense. And I think I saw another one the other day that we get a booking on average every 5 tackles. And against us, it's something like every 12 or 14 tackles. So I don't really want to go down the line of everybody hates us and we're hard done by and the refs are picking on us, but...
Sound like Jose, Kev. Sound like Mourinho, mate.
No, don't go down there. But no, I just don't get it. I just don't, I don't think, look, we've got a dirty squad. I think that's a bit of our problem, really. Look, we're not dirty enough. We're not hard enough sometimes.
I tend to agree with you on that, but also I do Arteta mentioned it after the game on Tuesday. He said that we are having too many red cards at the minute. And Barley and Nketiah one, and maybe the Aubameyang one. I think the others have been probably deserved. But we have got some people in our team that are making stupid fouls. Mustafi being one. Xhaka makes them. I mean, we do have people make stupid fouls. So with the fair play leagues, it's, as you said, it's fair play league. It don't matter really, does it? But I think we do need to cut out and say Guendouzi's another one who makes stupid fouls, a little tug on someone that just doesn't need doing.
Yeah.
So I do get why we are sometimes a bit immature with the stuff we do. David Luiz is a prime example. We've got a lot of players that do it, that people need to eradicate that. And I think Arteta is, and the mere fact he highlighted it after the game on Tuesday, I think it's something he knows as well. And we've got to stop it.
And maybe we need a bit more.
We make ourselves an easy target sometimes for referees, I think.
I'm like I say, sorry about it, Chris. I'm not sure whether Arteta was saying that against the players or against the FA and refs. Yeah. But I think it's likely, to be fair, he was kind of aiming at both of them. Do you know what I mean? If you know that you're going to get pulled up on something,
don't do it.
Don't bloody do it. Don't repeat yourself. But I feel sorry for Eddie. I mean, Eddie could have had a cracking end to the season.
I know. He was playing well, wasn't he? But then hopefully that's a chance for Lacazette now. He scored the other day against Wolves. Hopefully. He tends to score against Tottenham. So hopefully he can kick himself off at a little Sunday and get a little run.
Well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about the North London derby. I'll be honest with you, lads. I absolutely hate this fixture. I detest it. I get too nervous, sweaty palms. We don't have a great record up there against them lot and their toilet bowl. It's just, I'm not going to look forward to this weekend at all with this game, even though Tottenham tonight have drawn 0-0 against Bournemouth. They're not looking very good. Even if you think about the Leicester game, we might have had, overall, by the time the match had ended at the Leicester game, we'd had less shots than them. I think they'd had something like 63% possession against down 37. So, it petered away in the second half against Leicester, but we have looked like a form team. So we should be going into this game. Gav, do you not think we should be going into this game feeling a little bit optimistic about our chances?
Yeah, and the good thing as well is since we've come back, this has been our longest breather. See, we played on Sunday, and we played Tuesday, wasn't it? And we got a week off, 4 days or 5 days off or whatever, and we've got 2 more days off than Tottenham. So there's that as well. Hopefully, Arteta will come up with a plan, and I don't watch Tottenham. I'll put it on if they're losing. If they're losing and there's 5 minutes to go, I put it on. Otherwise, I can't even stand having them anywhere near me. But I think, like I say, from what the results have been coming in, I think we've got to go and hammer them. Do you know what I mean? I think Arteta's comment, look, we've got to kill teams off. He's always very, very honest in his interviews. He's always up front. And he's right. If we get that opportunity like we did versus sort of Leicester in the first half, we've got to bang in 2 or 3 and we've got to put them away. And that's what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to put them away in the first half. I honestly do. Charlie,
you look itching to say something. Go on, mate. Go for it.
As much as I do feel confident, and you look at Tottenham's result tonight and how poor they was against Everton Monday night, and all that crap they've got going on with Mourinho and stuff like, it's just the North London derby, man. It's just it's never on form, is it? And I feel with you, Chris. But positives going into Sunday. This is Mikel Arteta's first North London derby. He knows what they're about. He knows how important it is for the players. He knows how important it is for the fans. He's an Arsenal man. He knows what this game's about. David Luiz will probably play. As much as people give him some stick, he's a leader in that dressing room, and he's played for Chelsea, who also hate Tottenham. So he knows how much this is. You've got Kieran Tierney's going to probably play in the week. He's played North London. He's played Old Firm derbies. Apart from Arsenal, Tottenham, probably the biggest derby out there. He knows what a proper game of football means, so he's going to be up for it. I would like to think Arsenal would try and do some sort of coy commercial plan and announce Aubameyang before Sunday, because that would give a massive lift for the club. Imagine going into that game, Aubameyang just signed a new deal, ready to go, everyone's buzzing, then we go and spank them 2-3-0. It has set up for us, first game at White Hart Lane, or the new shitter, whatever it is, first game to go down there, no fans as well, which, I'll go Arsenal Tottenham every year. And I don't care anyone says, I don't care if anyone thinks this is bigging Tottenham up or not. That is an intense atmosphere. They hate us more than anything. And the pain and stuff we give them over the years, they've got a reason to hate us, right? And it's the same as when they come to our gaff. The Emirates is like a cauldron of hell. I mean, when you go to our lane, from walking up the high road, going in the ground before the game, and the players come out, it is hostile. It totally is. So that's going to do us a favour again on Sunday. I'm not saying the players are not brave enough to step up to it, but it does help. They are in disarray at the minute, Tottenham, right? And I know I've just been speaking to a Tottenham fan about their result, and I've having a pop off about Mourinho. We're very similar at the minute, team-wise, but you look at our future with Arteta and the young players we've got coming through, our future looks bright. He just said to me, with Mourinho, it's the complete opposite. They don't look bright. They're looking, fuck me, they want him out already. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good opportunity for us on Sunday to really, no matter what's happened this season, no matter what else happens this season, go and put a serious performance against them on Sunday. And if we turn up properly and we could go and wallop them Sunday. I know I'm not expecting it, but it'd be nice to just go and really just turn up to put 2-3-0 up early doors and really just absolutely put them to the sword.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I'm thinking about Mourinho's got it's really irritating. He's got a very good record against Arsenal, every team he's been, and so how he's gonna have a plan for how we set up. And so the question is whether or not Arteta has then got a counter plan. Is he going to change it a little bit, or is he going to stick with the three at the back with our marauding wing backs? One of the things that I've liked about Arteta is the way in which we seem to rotate our formation even. So we'll flick between a back four and a back three. We'll move players. Chess pieces get moved around the board quite a lot. And that's what I'm hoping we see a lot more of, because can Mourinho deal with that movement? And if we've got players that are feeling confident, can they deal with it? So Gav, couple of bits. How much of an advantage do you think no fans in the stadium is? And how do you think we counteract the Mourinho negativity that we're inevitably going to see?
Yeah, no, I mean, as Charlie said, it's absolutely huge. Exactly the same as if they was coming to ours. It'd be a huge advantage to them. It affects refs' decisions. It's just the constant noise that sometimes they make when they ain't losing. It's massive that we're playing there without any fans. It's a huge difference. With regards to how they set up and how we go against Mourinho, I mean, I think Arteta's going to have his number, to be fair. I can't see anything but. I mean, Mourinho is going to want to try and block us up. If anything, he might even try and play for a draw and just try and hit us on the counter. And if we're playing for it in the back, that ain't going to work. They ain't going to be able to lump the ball into the middle all the time. We've got to basically push our fullbacks forwards. That's what Arteta's got to sort of start off and set up. We've got to sort of push them back from the fullbacks. And if we can do that, and indeed have 3 or 4 fit fullbacks on the bench to bring on, we can do that non-stop for 90 minutes. Then I just can't see them getting near us. Like I say, we need a bit of luck in front of goal. Their keeper's done all right against us in the past.
If you guys can all just touch wood whilst you're saying that, that'd be great. Just touch every piece of mahogany or oak that you've got within arm's reach. That would be great.
I'd like to see him try a bit. I don't want to say nothing different because we've been doing all right. But as you said, Chris, I think Mourinho's going to expect us to play that 3-5-2 or whatever it is, which that 3-5-2. But what I would like to see us do, maybe, they're going to be quite bulked up in the middle of Tottenham. I'd like us to match that. I'd like us to have Torreira, Xhaka and Ceballos in there. Keep the back three as it is. Tierney on the left. I would give Saka a right wing back role. I think he's good enough for that. He can get up and down. He knows how to defend. And I'd have Aubameyang and Lacazette up top. I think with that pace, with Tierney, Saka, Ceballos can join in late to that as well. So he's got a bit more of a freer role. And have Xhaka and Trevor sitting there in front of the three. I think that's what I would do personally. But I would fully expect him to play the same sort of team that he had against Wolves, to be honest with you.
Yeah, possibly. So come on then, we're just coming towards the end of the 30 minutes, and I just want to get a couple of minutes talking about the KSC stuff that's come out today just before we wrap up. But Charlie, just on the NLD, just give me a prediction then.
I want to go 3-1 to the Arsenal. Lovely.
And Gav?
I'm sitting here exactly the same as last week, thinking exactly the same as what Charlie's thinking. I'll tell you what, I'm going 3-0.
Oh,
blimey.
3-0. Well, I'm going to give Bellerin another tenner for planting some trees if we get the nil.
Lovely. Well, I'm the ever pessimistic gooner, so I think we've got a draw. I think it's got one of those scabby draws where we outplay them, but it'll be a 1-1 or a 2-2. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Gav,
Go on,
just
get
before,
a grip, Chris.
just, just as we wrap up today, can you just talk us through, because you've obviously been reading up a little bit about some of the noises around KSE. They've done a bit of hokey pokey, haven't they, or jiggery pokery even with the financing and the way that Arsenal have their debts financed at the moment. So lots of people, you can read Swiss Ramble, absolutely brilliant stuff, very, very detailed. There are lots of professional accountants and amateur accountants who know a lot more than us. But what we try to do on this podcast is put things into simple soldier English. So, Gav, from your simple soldier English perspective, what's your sort of interpretation of what we've heard about tonight?
Right, yeah, I mean, basically, this is just reading off Swiss Ramble. Darren Arsenal, I had a little chat with Darren Arsenal privately as well. Basically, the club had bonds, or if you call it a loan, which totaled 160 million quid against the rebuilding of the bowl. One of the agreements of that was that we had to have a certain amount of money in cash sitting in a bank account at all times, which is 37 million. Basically, what KSE have done is they've paid off the 160 million pound loan or bond, which automatically frees up the 37 million. So he's paid off 160 million and straight away he's got 37 million back. Now, what he's then going to do is his company has lent Arsenal that either 160 or 123 million pound. So then he will come to grips with, and he'll get to a figure of how much the club pays him back on a yearly basis. Now, with regards to interest rates and loans at the moment, obviously due to the recession of the world, they're very, very low. So he could and should be charging us that money back at a much lower interest rate than what we was paying. So it's almost a little bit up in the air. It's a good thing. Look, the club has now got zero debt, but it's a bad thing that the debt that the club has got is to the owner. What he could also do quite easily is put in a little bit more this year to cover the losses that the club's procured through the COVID and the virus, and again pay that back at an interest rate to him. So it's still a little bit up in the air. It could be good, it could be bad, but I think that the headline really is Arsenal have got no external debt, but we've got internal debt, which we've got to hope the American don't take the piss out of us, basically.
Go on then, Charlie. Final word then before we wrap up.
I do agree with you, Gav. It is a little bit of a up in the air thing. So you don't know yet what the agenda is behind it for him. But I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt at the minute that he's done this. He didn't have to do it. Do you know what I mean? But I'd like to think if we can try and do this and then maybe get some more funds available for the summer, and they put their money where their mouth is in a way. I think this transfer window is going to be really key for Arteta, and I think we don't know if Aubameyang is staying or not yet officially, but the rumours are that he is going to sign. I think once that happens, that has to be a massive boost for Arsenal fans, because Aubameyang would have gone there, guaranteed his contract, and said to them, "Who are you signing this summer? I'll stay if you're going to match the ambitions on the pitch." If he signs a contract, he must have been told that certain things are going to happen this summer. So I'd like to think, I am a very half glass full than a half glass empty person, unlike Chris, who's going for a draw in a North London derby, which I'm not happy about.
No, I think the next one we'll do without him, I think, Charlie.
I think so, mate. I mean, I'd like to think, me with my positive hat on, that it can only be for the better for the club and the short-term gains regarding money to be spent this summer, I think. And as a business thing, as much as we all moan about business and season ticket prices, and I see Gav, you weren't too happy with the silver member stuff earlier on, which I totally agree. I think we got to be realistic that Arsenal have obviously, and as well as every other business in the whole world, has taken a massive hit at the moment. So they've got to try and do things to recuperate the money, because we still need to be financially active in a way. So they need something. I mean, I see you Tottenham yesterday. They've actually taken everyone's season ticket deposits by the 14th of July, aren't they? Because that shows you how skint they are at the minute. They're trying to recuperate this money. So I think you are going to see a lot. We're not, unfortunately, in the bracket of Man City, Chelsea, United, even in a way. We are going to have to do certain things that people ain't going to be happy with. But hopefully, for the better for the club, we can march on.
Yeah, hopefully, and we'll be marching on then today, then, lads, because that is just over 30 minutes. I did think it was important just for Gav and you, obviously, Charlie, just to get a bit of input there, because we've only just heard that news tonight. Once again, thank you very much for listening to us or watching us. You can subscribe via all the usual channels. We're on gunnerstown.com/podcast. You'll always be able to find our stuff there. Charlie, it's been great to see you. Let's fingers crossed for the North London derby on Sunday at 4:30 UK time. And Gav, thank you very much once again.
Yeah, no, cheers. Like I say, it's been great joining you, lads, and let's hope we fucking smash them.
Up the arse.
Go on up.
And we will see you next time. See you later.